Oh man, I appreciate that. Oh, look, actually, yes. Well, let's see
That's the foot. You want me to reach?
Oh yeah, I can see your seat now. Okay, but now I can't see me. How funny.
It's a fine line to thread there. A little farther.
Well, I got like a 6'5" engineer that came in and reset the cameras for me yesterday. Maybe down a little bit or up. No, that'll work. That'll work. Yeah, I can see you too. That's the key.
Scoot a little in too.
It's just I've got this system where I can do. We've got these in front of us.
Yeah.
I can go back and forth, and
Oh,
then
I
I
see.
can. So I'm producing this while we're doing it, and then
Sure.
I've got the whole room view, which looks cool because it
Yeah.
looks down on it.
Cool, man. That's a lot of knobs.
It is. There's a joke in there somewhere, and I don't want to go there. All right.
I heard it.
Let's see. What should we say? I know we're good. Jason Scott from Jason Scott in the High Heat. Oh, dang it. Hang on one second. Check, 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 check. I'm way too hot. Jason Scott from Jason Scott in the High Heat joining us here on the Ranch Sit Down. Oklahoma boy, welcome.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. I walked around here and found a sub sandwich just a couple blocks away.
Well, that's a good day.
It was a good day. You had two Dos Equis and a turkey club. You can't complain.
Right? I'm a little jealous, man.
It's a work week too.
Let's kill this thing and go.
Yeah, I could have another.
So the band name, we'll start with some of the obvious questions. The
Sure.
band name, The High Heat.
Yeah,
Big baseball fan? Where did that come from?
that was a part of it. And to be honest, I let them kind of come because the band was sort of back then. They thought this is something that we should have as a band name.
Mm-hmm.
So we put together a huge list and kind of let them decide. But it was between High Heat and Dad Behavior, or we had some other dumb ones in there.
So you didn't want to see on a T-shirt?
Yeah. But High Heat, I felt like we've always been sort of fashion forward, or at least something that we've all been interested in, and so it kind of had that reference. But the baseball ref was one too, and we've yet to really do anything merch-wise with it, but eventually. And we got a hot sauce thing that we're working on right now.
Very
but
cool.
I feel like a weed strain. Like
I was going
High
to say
Heat
there's
could do
like
a
some
lot.
kind of THC.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
High Heat
Hot
Kush.
sauce. Well, you are in Oklahoma. I mean,
That's right.
everything's got weed in it, right?
Yeah, I mean, even the hot sauce. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, it's
That
gonna.
may be the greatest hot sauce in the
Bro.
history of hot sauce. That's all right. This is starting off bad real quick.
It should sell.
because then we go into the other obvious question. You have a weird. How do I say this? I don't mean weird. You have an interesting history.
Sure.
Where most people in music come from, being a Pentecostal youth minister. Like that happens a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right around here. Although I will say, like John Moreland, I mean, there
Well,
are
there you go,
there
yeah.
are several artists that do have religious backgrounds, but
Mhm.
I feel like Pentecostal may be a little few and far between. But I mean, there's the Jerry Lee the Greats. There are some Pentecostal.
Well, I'm going to say
greats.
there's a lot of great music in Pentecostal
Yeah.
churches too, though.
Sure. Yeah.
So when were you growing up? Were you doing music in the church?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, from 4 and 5, I was on the platform, and that's one of the parts of growing up like that I'm very thankful for, because they're very Pentecostal music is very expressive.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very outgoing, and that
Mhm.
translates to what we're doing, currently. So
Right.
I'm really thankful for that, the way I was raised in that regard. But yeah, maybe it's not that common of a story. I don't know. For me, it was.
I grew up as the son of a Church of Christ preacher.
Okay,
You
so
know, there's no music.
no music, yeah.
Absolutely no music. So obviously I had to get into this. So yeah, I mean, we all have these weird, interesting pasts that
Yep.
lead us down this road. So what led you, Jason, into doing this kind of music? This kind of and that's what I like about your band, is because I can't explain it. Is it Americana? Is it red dirt? Is it
Yeah.
folk? Is it grunge folk? Whatever it is.
Sure, yeah, you tell me. That's,
Right.
maybe that's been a kind of a lot of these industry people like to pigeonhole you, and maybe that's we're not Red Dirt,
Mm-hmm.
although I'm influenced by many of my Red Dirt friends and artists.
Right.
And I think a lot of it is because the church, dude. I just
Mm-hmm.
grew up with gospel in my blood, and I think we kind of, maybe Paul Cawthon is a good,
Yeah.
a good tie-in, or some of these more. There's a TK and the Holy Know Nothings band
Mhm.
that I feel like there's this gospel Americana rock thing that's taken hold, and maybe we fit into that category. But I mean, what is Americana? I mean,
It-
just
you know, we went to Americana Fest this last, I guess it was September.
yep.
And I brought a whole bunch of Fort Worth artists with us
Sure.
to Nashville at this really cool Fort Worth showcase. And every single one of them, that was the first question I asked. What to you is Americana?
Right.
Ask 10 different artists, get 10 different answers.
Yeah,
And I think that's the cool thing about it is, and I
Agreed.
think Caitlin Butts had, and I know you went on the road with her for
we
a while.
did. Yeah,
One of the best answers she gave, or that was given, was by her, and she goes, "It gives me the ability to be whoever I want to be at that moment."
I think that's an absolute great answer from
Mhm.
someone who's worked her butt off too.
Yeah.
I love Caitlin Butts. We don't know how to define it other than saying these are our roots and influences. So you guys tell me.
Yeah.
And if we need to, like, you know, we often get billed on. We're playing Mile Zero Fest coming up,
Mhm.
and that's a Red Dirt centric
Yeah.
festival. So I feel like we fit in there. I mean, hell, I've
Absolutely.
been there every year they've done it, except for COVID or something like that.
Mhm.
But so I think we fit into these. It's like, I think Paul Cawthon's a great comparison because he can play at a lot of these, although, you know, maybe not so much the Born and Raised and Mile Zeros. But I don't know any of that.
He's
You know?
such a good showman, though.
Dude, he is, and he
Yeah.
has that. It's soul, and it's that kind of gospel, like
Mhm.
encouraging, even though the songs are insane.
They're cocaine cowboy.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what am I
Hey,
hearing?
that's the thing about Pentecost is they're there to party. You know?
Yeah.
So, and religion is sort of an elixir itself, I think. You
Mhm.
know. So thankful for my past, and as far as where we fit in, we can go any direction you want.
So you guys you're driving around and you stop at a gas station and you all pile out of a van and somebody goes, "Are you guys in a band? Yeah. What kind of music do you play?"
Yeah.
And you're trying to, I mean, you don't want to sit there and talk to them for 20 minutes trying to explain what you are. What is your elevator pitch?
Yeah, when I send emails to the millions of venues and governors and their lower staff, everybody I send an email to, well, I usually just call it country/Americana. I mean,
Okay.
we're a little Tom Petty at times, a little
Yeah.
rock and roll, but at our root, and Taylor Johnson's a big part of our sound, and he's a Louisiana Muscle Shoals dude. I think
Mhm.
Southern rock and country is what is the overlapping kind of themes, and you throw a little bit of Red Dirt and some Jesus in there, and you got the high heat.
Man, it's a long answer, but it still works.
I feel like I get asked a lot, and I still don't know necessarily what a short answer is. You know?
Yeah.
So
So, you grew up. I was doing some research for this interview. You
Sure.
grew up in a home where you didn't have TV.
right.
You weren't listening to mainstream rock and roll music. Like, how was it? How do I say it? It almost sounds Amish in a way, except you probably had some electronics. So, like, almost a sheltered life. How do you not get out of that and just go completely freaking nuts?
Yeah, great question. So my mother had an affair when I was 11 and 12 in
Mhm.
the Pentecostal church I grew up with. It split the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
She moved, I moved with her, and from like 12 to 18, not a lot of supervision, just kind of did whatever I want through
Right.
my adolescent years. I did that through some getting in trouble type of things. I got back into church real hardcore
Mm-hmm.
and met my wife and all that through church, and then sort of had a crisis of faith and left. I think once I realized that, and this is just my perspective, I mean, no offense, but the religious side, at least to that level, wasn't real, and I had gotten that far in leadership
Yeah.
where I sort of saw the inner workings of it, and for me, it wasn't something that I could stick around and pretend was real.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to bail, and I bailed real quick, and it was sort of a thing in the moment, and then immediately, dude, I left and started finding anybody with a guitar picture in there, because I knew I was born playing and singing music, and I had no real schooling. I felt
Mhm.
like this, if I'm leaving a job as a worship pastor, I gotta still, chase down this music thing. I started meeting people and doing open mics and JJ's Alley, and I'm actually wearing a Seventh Day Rebellion shirt. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they were an Oklahoma City community that really, really took me in, and they
Mhm.
were a huge part of the development of Mile Zero Fest as well.
Oh, okay.
But through that, man, I've always been kind of a people person too, and I've made friends very easy, and they've ended up, some of them becoming part of my band, and then the rest is sort of where we are now.
So who would you consider to be like musical influences for you now?
Sure. So I get asked this a lot too. Taylor Johnson, who was my lead guitar player and wrote a lot of these songs with me, I would consider him a major influence.
That's cool.
Because he turned me on. Dude, he would put me on a regimen of artists to listen to. Because while I had a period of time during my teen years where I was skateboarding and stuff, when I got back into church, it's sort of the same vibe of, you write off any sort of secular influences, and you're real guarded about your spirit and your heart and not letting outside influence in. So I missed out on a lot of mainstream music. When I grew up, my parents, I got to listen to Alice in Wonderland and maybe some bluegrass every now and then.
Yeah.
My uncle was
bluegrass is just all murder songs, really.
I know. And drinking, dude. Come on.
There's a lot of moonshine and murder.
Loss. Yeah, it's country. It's
that's
like
as Oklahoma
country
as it
light.
gets right there, right? Well, that's really cool that you get to work with somebody you consider to be an influence.
Oh man, and not just him, the other guys in the band too. I mean, I feel like I've caught up too because I'm constantly listening to stuff too. But I will say, heavily influenced. Not that I had never heard Led Zeppelin before or the Beatles before, but I had never
immersed yourself.
Absolutely.
In it. Yeah.
And Taylor was very insistent on, you're going to listen to this and you're going to go home and we're going to work. You're going to write chords and riffs and stuff around this. And out of that, you haven't heard this whole record, but just these first couple off of it. But I think you would definitely hear some influences. And then when I got out of church, I've always loved songwriters. So Isbell was huge for me. James Taylor was huge. John Prine, a huge influence just on me personally. But yeah, the guys in my band have been exposing me to a lot of stuff, and then we just kind of let that out in the studio.
So who controls the music when you guys are driving in the band?
That's Taylor always.
Oh,
dude.
really?
Yeah, and I'm sick of the Beatles, to be honest.
I mean, what have they done lately, really?
Exactly.
So, I knew you guys were onto something when one day I'm in here doing my show and some guy calls up and he goes, "Hey man, play me that My Baby Left Me for a Democrat song."
Yeah.
That is not the name of that song. It's one short little line in that song, but for some reason, and we were talking before we started this interview, how weird it is that sometimes one little line like that will resonate with so many different people. And to be honest with you, Jason, it's pretty brave to do something like that, to mention any kind of politics in this day and age.
Yeah, actually.
What's the story behind that line?
Well, I started kind of the chord progression, and then Taylor kind of took over it. And me and Gabe, my other guitar player, was sort of feuding over some social media stuff, and it was just kind of not anything crazy, but a little just kind of ego-ridden turmoil in the band. Well, he's kind of a big Democrat, and I'm an independent. And there's certain sides of both of the aisle that I agree with, but so we were kind of feuding, and I sent Taylor this whole first verse to Me in the Bottle. It wasn't good enough, and he was like, "Try again." So me and Gabe are texting back and forth, bro, and I'm like, bleep this, dude. So I just threw it in there almost as a joke, and Taylor was like, "That's really good." That we got together and decided if collectively we thought the risk was great enough. But I feel like the character in the song sort of, he would say that in a bar, and it's not up to me to these characters define themselves a lot.
Right, yeah, you're not pushing any agenda on either side.
No.
It's just funny. I mean, you can hear some guy right out here saying that, "Oh, my baby left me for a Democrat." I mean, it's just because then you want to hear the rest of that story, because you know that's a great story. Yeah. No matter where it leads, there's a great ending there.
Yeah, okay, good. Mission accomplished.
Right, right. So, but I mean,
we're trying to get spins at the end of the day, bro. That's what it's.
Tell me what other lines.
I'm trying to. Yeah, exactly.
We should do. Yeah, I mean, you guys have such a really cool, unique sound. And
Thanks.
I love that. I mean,
Thank
you
you.
sound like Jason Scott in the High Heat. And
Sure.
That's the only people you sound like.
Cool, man. That's a high compliment, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, no offense, but there's a lot of redundancy in several music industries.
There is.
And I want to stand out,
is.
even if it takes a little longer to get there to the where we can eat.
There's longevity there when you
Yeah.
do it your own way like that. And
Sure.
like I've told so many artists over the years, because I'll get the what we sound like.
Yeah.
Well, we already played that artist.
Yeah.
Like, why
It's
would
the
we do that
first
again?
thing they ask you. And
Who
you
do
know,
you sound
yeah,
like?
even venue applications and stuff. Sometimes they'll have that line. What's your? And I get they're trying to figure out
You
what
could have
crowd,
some fun with that,
Yeah.
though, man. Like really.
like who we sound like.
Yeah.
Just throw some.
Like, just some
right,
random Weird
left
Al
curves.
Yankovic, Kermit the Frog.
We're trying to get booked, Shane.
That might actually work though.
Yeah.
These guys are great. Let's see what happens. Oh my god.
Let's get Kermit in here on a Saturday night. They're gonna love this.
So, best show you've done so far, best venue that you played at. You remember? Maybe not. That's how good it was.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to. We've had so many people be so good to us and bringing us on with, out
Okay.
much representation. But I got to say that Mile Zero Fest, just because I've been there from the inception, is an
Mhm.
incredible festival. And Key West is a special sort of
Well, yeah.
weird place.
Yeah.
But Luck Reunion is, it's
Yeah.
got to be up there. It's small. So is Key West. So is Mile Zero Fest.
Yeah,
really,
it's
they
not
only do about
huge.
4,000 type of people. But Luck Reunion is just a magical place because it's all that like faux sing, you know what I mean, the
Mhm.
Western thing, and that's where we're kind of pushing more and more towards. So, and we love all the fashion stuff. So there's a million of those,
Oh yeah.
Western boutiques set
Yeah.
up that you got to pay
guys spend a lot of
$30,000
money.
for a pair of
Yeah.
Levi's.
You spend a lot of money on a pair of Levi's I threw away 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Damn.
Everybody's cleaning them up at thrift stores, I guess. But Luck Reunion and Mile Zero Fest are both way up there. We played Braun Brothers Reunion way up, and
Oh yeah.
that was
I've
incredible.
always wanted to go to that.
Yeah, it was sick. The backdrop's unbelievable, and of course it's Cody Can. It's
Yeah.
the lineup
Yeah,
too.
it's Reckless and Mickey
Yep.
the Motor Cars.
Yep.
And golly, just those two bands would be enough to draw me up there.
Yeah, we got to meet and hang with them, and
Mhm.
great people. The old saloon too in Montana was
Oh really?
a really notable venue for us too.
So you played some really cool places. it sounds like.
23 has been a good year. It's been a real
How
good
many
year.
shows did you do in 23? Do you remember? Or like if you just ballpark?
45, 50 if I'm not include band shows. If I'm
Uh-huh.
not including, all the personal diaper money type of shows
Yeah.
I have to do. So
Diaper money
just
for,
kid.
for Taylor.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah,
right.
I kind of figured that.
Yeah, he craps his britches a lot.
You have one kid?
Two.
Two?
Yeah.
What do we have?
They're not in diapers anymore, but
But I don't understand.
yeah, Owen just turned 11 and Boo is 7.
Oh,
So
those are fun ages.
I'm loving it.
They're not quite ready to talk back yet.
Yeah.
They still kind of like you and respect you.
Yeah, I still get when I come home, Dad,
Oh,
that thing at the door,
That's a cool
big
feeling.
hugs. But right now, the gaming
Oh, yeah.
ecosphere is
What is-
settling on our
What's
house.
the game of choice for them right now?
Dude, Minecraft and Roblox. Oh,
Roblox, yeah.
we just got I got them VR things.
Oh wow.
So now they've
Like
been,
knocking stuff off
dude,
the
they're
walls.
they're killing bots,
Right.
West Coast to East Coast.
That's awesome. Well, you got your guitar in
Yeah.
here. You mind playing us a song?
No, I thought about playing Me in the Bottle, but it's a little loud and aggressive. Do you think this mic will hold it, or
It can play whatever you feel like showcasing.
I might do
We've heard Me in the Bottle a lot.
Sure.
'Cause we play the hell out of it.
Yeah, let's do. We just released one called Natalie that I'll do.
Okay.
Well, I'm a man with plans. They don't always go my way. My best intentions laying dim. Stuck in traffic in LA. But darling, that's okay. I'm a ship sailing on your water. All my worries are forgotten when you look at me that way. Natalie, don't your love look good on me like a brand new pair of jeans? When the world gets cold and mean, I got you and you got me, my Natalie. When my father died, now I couldn't fight the darkness. Weren't you right there to help my heart rest? Riding up the way. Ain't that the way you shine? On the best days and the bad ones, making good days out of sad ones. You're a holiday. Natalie, don't your love look good on me, like flowers in the spring? When the world gets cold and mean, I got you and you got me, my Natalie. When we're old and gray and the fire's burning soft, we can look back on the memories and keep us still today. And I know what I'll say as I kiss you on the cheek. There ain't nothing we can't beat, baby, nothing we can't shake. Natalie, don't your love look good on me, like the snowfall in the evening? When the world gets cold and mean, I got you and you got me, my Natalie. I got you and you got me, my Natalie.
Jason Scott in studio with us. Jason Scott in the High Heat. I've been blessed, I guess, with this weird thing that happens to me, and I think that's why I've had such a long career in radio and picking all these really cool bands like you guys, is when something magical happens, like my body gets overwhelmed, chills, I'll cry, it doesn't bother me one bit. Dude, chills right then.
Okay.
That was something magic right there.
Bro, I saw your Facebook post. You're like, how many bands I've made famous? One.
Yeah. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I get that a lot. Like, well, I can't make it because Shayne won't play me. Like, that's not the truth.
Well, man, I appreciate the compliment. It's good too to write. You know, love songs are harder to write. So much been said about love.
Right.
Hard to come up with a new thing. And actually, Natalie, we had a couple who asked us to write a song about their sort of love story, and they gave us a bunch of info and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, actually, we have a song called Fort Worth Is Where, which is off Castle Rock. I think it's called Fort Worth, but it's the same vibe. The couple gave us some background story and we wrote a song.
So it was somebody from here, because you mentioned Sundance Square,
yes,
which is this right here. Yeah. That was the first song I ever heard from you guys.
Really?
I started playing. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is our backyard. That is really cool, man. So this, you've got an album that we haven't heard everything from. When do we get to hear this album? And by the way, Jennifer should be fired, your radio promoter, for not sending me Natalie yet. Yeah. Like, make sure she knows that.
I will. I'll tell her right now.
That's such
Let me text her.
That is such a freaking good song.
Dude, thank you, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
So when do we get to hear the rest of the album?
Yeah, so, okay, we have Angela Backstrom's coming on board, too, here in March. Yeah, she's going to do all the Americana side. She felt like Me in the Bottle. We felt like Me in the Bottle was more of a Texas radio thing.
Right, yeah.
I wish we could have tried it, but, you know, at the end of the day, money is a little bit. Also, these songs don't die just because they've had one life on one, chart. You know what I'm saying? So maybe we revive this down the road. But we've got a single coming out in March called Golden, and then one of the ones we're super excited about called Yard Work is coming out in July. It's a very summer themed kind of thing. And then the record will come out in September. We're trying to get as much real estate out of this investment as
Yeah,
possible.
I don't
know what I'm
blame you,
saying?
man. It's not cheap anymore to do this.
Yeah, it's not. So that's kind of our timeline. I think September 20th, maybe right before Americana Fest, if they'll let us in this year.
Yeah.
And I know they're listening out here in Fort Worth.
They do.
must be good.
They do, yeah. They complain. It's fine. It's all good.
This is the 4th year we've applied. I think it's our time.
I think so.
All
Yeah,
right.
they always say fifth time's a charm.
The
I think
fifth?
is what the T-shirt says. Yeah, you
Yeah.
should be good. God, that's crazy. So, what is the? Every band likes to set goals for themselves, achievable goals, and you move on to the next one. What's the next goal for Jason Scott and the High Heat?
Yeah, I think picking up a booking agent if I is
Taking some off your plate.
at the top of the list. I'd love to be able to spend some more time getting back into another record. We certainly have plenty of demos to work on. So, but I think as a collective goal would be to double what we did last year. You know, and we've already got a bunch of cool gigs lining up. Our first time in Nashville. And
Oh, great.
Yeah. So, man, I don't know. I feel like I want to do this till I die. So just to keep going is a goal. Like,
Right.
don't drink myself to death.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you made it past 27, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so you're good.
I think so.
That's
what
the. I mean, that's the
it's
rock
also
and
on a
roll
t-shirt,
age.
yeah.
Yeah. Golly. Got morbid. Sorry.
Yeah. That
So
went
if
dark
there are any
real-
booking agents out there listening, and I know you are, this is a band you should definitely pick
Yeah.
up. Like, man, you guys are on to something. I'm telling you.
I feel like this. We're gonna keep doing this
Mm-hmm.
as long as we can. So, I guess the goal would be, I'd like to end the year with the same group of dudes and double the success that we have
Right.
already built together and collectively, because we're real big on the collective of this group. I wouldn't be here without them, and we've got guys who are socially minded. Gabe's dressing Flatland Cavalry and sort of fashion guy, like he's into that stuff. Of course, Taylor Johnson is an incredible producer and helps me write these songs. Ryan just produced the Jason Isbell video, the King of Oklahoma
Oh,
video.
really? I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah, him and
That
his
is
crew
a
did all that.
dark
Yeah.
video,
Yeah,
man,
man.
but so powerful.
I think it's powerful
That was
too.
so good, and it need to be said. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
That's one of those subjects where everybody kind of sweeps it under the rug and pretends it doesn't happen.
Man, that's Oklahoma
But
too. You're
It's
talking about small
it's
town.
everywhere now, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah, but yeah, man, that's really cool.
So we got a great collective of dudes, and I think a personal goal for me would be in 2024 with double the success we had last year, just by hard work and repetitions. And if we do that, I'm a happy dude.
Just keep making fun of Democrats, and you should be fine. No, just
got
don't
one.
even. Just don't respond, man.
Okay,
Don't
yeah,
respond. I'm gonna keep you out of trouble. Jason Scott and the High Heat, man. Like, so I guess Mile Zero Fest is the next big thing for you guys.
Yes, sir. We kick off. This is our first year on the main stage too. So
What's
yeah,
up?
we open the whole thing.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
About time they got that something right. Oh, I almost cussed. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate you coming
Thank
and
you,
chatting
man.
with us, man. It's been an honor and a pleasure to
Yes, sir.
finally meet you and put a face to the name.
Absolutely.
And keep doing this cool stuff.
Will do, man. Hope
And
to be
send
back.
me Natalie,
I will.
please.
Yep.
Please.
Thank you. Thanks, Fort Worth.
Great job, ma'am.
Thank you.
Dang, that was a good song. Jesus. Oh, I hate that. But yeah, I used to. I'm a large. Oh, my wife wears a medium.